Welcome to this edition of the Laurel Firewatch. I'm your co-host, Richard Blankenship. And today we're going to talk a little bit about smoke detectors, as I do every month when we do this show, because it's very important to make sure people understand why it's important to have an operating smoke alarm. We're also going to talk a little bit about dryer fires. Back in January of this year, we had our election. And today I have two people here with me today, and we'll have them introduce themselves to you, who they are and what their position is, and what kind of plans they have for the future of this department within this next year, and what their plans are maybe down the future and moving up in rank. Again, we talked about the 10-year seal. As of 2018, all the smoke detectors are supposed to be replaced with a 10-year seal, lithium battery. But due to the cost and nature of that thing, that the fire marshal for the state of Maryland has authorized, if you have a smoke detector that's older than 10 years old, you replace it with a 10-year seal. If you have a smoke detector that is not operating when you push the button for the test is not working, you need to replace it. Or if it starts to malfunction, and what I mean by that is it'll start chirping and just keeps on beeping and beeping, it means something's wrong with it. If you lived in your house longer than 10 years, you should have a good idea about if your smoke detector's been replaced or not. So if it's been longer than 10 years, you need to do that. It's the same thing with the the hardwired unit as well. If you know that you had a unit that's been, like I said, longer than 10 years, replace it. But you got to have an operating smoke alarm. Just in the past 2 months here in Laurel, we've had a couple fires in the city, and the smoke detector had alerted the families to get out of the house early enough. That's the whole reason why I'm having the smoke detector, early detection. The more early you can get the detection during a fire, the quicker it is for you to get out of the house. Now, as an inspector for the city of Laurel, I'm still finding out people cover them up, take them down, unplug them. Not a good thing to do, and it's hard to make people understand, unless you've been involved in a fire, why it's so important to do that. Right now, I'm going to introduce what we call this young lady is Cupcake, and I'll let her tell you her real name. Everybody, not everybody in fire service, most of us in the fire service have a nickname. My nickname is Black Cat. Now, my father was a member of Laurel for a number of years. He was a member of Savage for years, and he got that name, and that name came over with me. When I joined this department, the older members that were here, that's what they started to call me. I never was smart enough to ask my dad how he got that name, Black Cat. People ask me today, and I'm almost embarrassed to say I don't know. You know, maybe he had some bad luck or something, I don't know. But anyhow, that name stuck with me. My son works for the fire service, and even when he was a member here, he carries the name as Black Cat as well. Cupcake's got hers. How did you get your nickname?
Somebody had called me Cupcake, and it irritated me. I told the chief at the time, and he knew I was upset that somebody had called me Cupcake. And that was history. I fought it for 2 weeks, and I lost.
Yeah, because usually when people give you nicknames, it sticks with you.
Yeah.
And especially if they know you don't like it, you own it.
Yeah.
That happens. So what is your real name?
Tiffany Lewis.
Tiffany Lewis.
Yeah.
And how long you been a member of Laurel?
About 7 years.
7 years. That's good. What got you involved in the fire department?
I have a lot of family members that are with PG County, not only 10, but also Branchville. My grandfather was a member of Branchville, and it was just a tradition that I figured I would keep going.
That's good. It's good to keep the family. The fire service here is a big family thing. I know I grew up in the fire service. I was just telling somebody the other day, I remember being like 7 years old, and there used to be a gentleman that lived 2 doors down from me. And back in the day, he would take the fire truck home. He'd hang in the firehouse all day, but he'd take it home for lunch. And I can remember him asking, he gave me a ride home. He said, yeah, get on the back. I guess if you looked at that engine today, you probably still see the hand marks whenever I held a grip on there. It took him a couple of days to get that off of me, get off the back of it. But I remember things like that. I remember things hanging at the firehouse, and my dad said, hey, you want to go? I go, yeah, get up in there, you know. Not many kids in the neighborhood would say they did that. That was never cool, you know. So I enjoyed that. So, but you just got elected to a lieutenant's position?
Yep, EMS lieutenant.
EMS lieutenant. Now, what's that entail? What are you going to be doing?
Just focusing on EMS for people to get turned over, give them the proper educational, make sure we have enough supply, make sure they're comfortable getting turned over to ride the ambulance to serve the community. A lot of ordering stuff.
And what do you mean by turned over? I mean, is it What's that mean?
So we have a phase packet for EMTs that finish EMT class. You have to know where everything is on the ambulance. You need to be proficient from what you've learned in EMT class, you know, how to work the radios, what to do if there's an emergency, you know, just to kind of put everything you learned in EMT class on a street. Make sure they're good to go.
If I was doing that and I got my EMT now, would I ride with somebody for a while before I got turned over?
Yep.
You just wouldn't say, hey, there it is, get on it?
No, absolutely not. We would make sure that you have a mentor, somebody that could make you the best EMT possible, you know, so we can serve the community in their emergencies. But there's a program where we send somebody with you for a numerous amount of rides, and then when we feel comfortable that you're good to go, and you feel comfortable that you're good to go to take patient care, we'll schedule you.
Now, I know Dave Cunningham was here for a while teaching all the CPR research and stuff, and Dave moved away. And I did have the opportunity to sit in your class, which I enjoyed very much. It was, you know, we just sit down, went over any changes and stuff like that. That was very good. I enjoyed that. And I'm glad to see you're taking Dave's spot, and so we keep our people certified, because the county does require us to maintain certain certifications each year, you know, like CPR, AED, infectious control, SCBA, N95 mask that the EMTs wear. So it's a big demand on the people. But I'm glad to hear you say that, because if there's any prospective members out there, and if you're interested, we'd be glad to have you. We're always looking for new people. That, you know, you're not going to be thrown through the walls. You go through the proper channels and take the proper training, and then get cleared in the right direction. Now, what's your plan for the future? You plan on moving up any higher where you are
I'd
now?
like to be chief one day.
That's good. That's not a bad thing.
No, I mean, I have a lot of things still that I need to do. I'd like to get turned over on the engine to drive, and, you know, just slowly but surely. I just want to make sure I'm proficient in what I'm doing now, but I'd like to get up there.
Well, it's good to see that you got some goals set. I mean, me, when I joined, two things I wanted to do when I joined here was be a life member and also become chief of the fire department, and I met all those. And that was a good feeling to be able to meet them goals that you set for yourself. It's good that you have those standards. Like I said, I'm glad to hear that you're looking to move on up, because we're doing the young people like yourself too. This is a young person's game. It's not made for old guys like me. I don't ride anymore, but I do the cable show and stuff, and I still put in time when I can. My next one is Dan. That's my co-host, and I have to say, Dan, congratulations to both of you on your positions, and I'm sure both of you serve this department very well, knowing that both of you the way I do. And Dan, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Cap. I first joined the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department back in 2005 as an admin member, and it was just before we obtained the ambulance. And then when we obtained the ambulance under your leadership as chief of the fire department, they asked me, I was already an EMT, they asked me if I would help run the ambulance, and then I changed over to an active member. So that's when I first began my volunteer service to the community here at the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department.
I remember back in the days when I was younger, and you remember the rescue squad at those times, and you used to run to your own calls. And I remember when you first became Prince County police officer.
Thanks
and
a lot.
Also now you're, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hang your style something. But I'm glad to see now you're driving the wagon and stuff, you know, or what we call the wagon. That's the first new engine that comes out of the firehouse. And Dan stepped up to the plate and just became a driver for it. Well, what's your plans for the department?
Ken, I tell you, I really appreciate the support of the membership, the support of the current chief and leaders that we have here at the fire department. And I think my primary responsibility here is to train, to learn, to continue to learn, and to help other people learn things that I know and learn from them of what they know. Because it's all about sharing information. And things are continuously changing. As you mentioned earlier in today's show, smoke detectors, the batteries. And smoke detectors save a lot of lives because they alert people early that there's a dangerous condition inside the home. And we need to be able to educate the community of this. We need to be able to ensure that our members are aware of this and other safety things that we can do to help people be safer in their homes and safer in the street. And sometimes you can't prevent everything. And when something does happen that's not good, it harms somebody or puts somebody in a bad situation, we're here. We're here to try to help mitigate the situation the best that we can. And we train, we study hard, we take classes, as Cupcake was saying. And that's what our goal is here. That's what our mission is, to help people that need help.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. There's a lot of dedication here. On Saturday mornings, some of the life members will come up and they'll sit and they'll talk and have some coffee and donuts and talk about old times. And I like to do that. I like to listen to that. I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I think we had over 500 years of experience just sitting among this table. And that's tremendous that they donated to the citizens of Laurel and the surrounding counties. People donate their time. They want to get back to the community. And one of the things they do, they volunteer their time at the firehouse. Like I said, these guys have been around a long, long time. A lot of those guys taught me a lot of things over the years. They don't know how much they did teach me. They taught me quite a few things. And it's good to hear that you're saying that there's people here that you can ask about different things. I'm no expert. I'm a long way from that, but I've been around for a little bit, and I'm always offering my time if anybody wants to ask and sit down and talk. I'm a good listener. That's one of the things that will make you a real good officer if you're a good listener. And if people trust you, they will talk to you no matter what the problem is. But I know, like I said, Dan, there's no doubt in my mind that both of you are going to do well in the position. And the officers that we got that I know of, I think we're going to have a good year. I don't see why we wouldn't. We got some really young people in the positions this year. And like I said, it's a young person's game. And, I already see a lot of things up on the board about training and stuff like that. They've already done a lot of training. We got a couple new, at least one new chief. The chief this year, Dave Ballard. Dave's been around for a long time, but it's a good learning experience for him as well. So, let me ask you a question. Since you do the EMS, a lot of times people ask, they call 911, they need an ambulance. And sometimes the engine will show up, or a police officer might show up. Why is that before an ambulance gets there?
It just all depends on what the call is. It's say if it's an assault. I mean, obviously you're going to have the police show up, or if you have somebody that you need more than one EMT. So all of our firefighters are EMTs as well, and we can actually do everything on an engine or a truck that except transport. So they're EMTs as well, or manpower to lift somebody up. 2 people off the ambulance won't be able to do that. So we'll call for manpower for the engine to come up and help us with that, or just an extra set of hands. Sometimes you need a little more.
Now, if they say like our ambulance is out on call, something like I guess you said an ALS call, the engine would go.
Yeah, most of the time you're going to get, if it's, say, somebody that's not breathing, you're going to get a medic unit, an ambulance, and an engine. It's because it's clockwork. You can't do CPR just by yourself. You need the extra hands. Everybody has a job to do, and the more people, the better chance of survival. So you'll get a bunch of different.
Now, is it important for the citizen to take a CPR class?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge advocate on having everyone trained on CPR. You never know if it's going to be your child. You never know if it's going to be your husband or just a stranger. You just know how to do it. You can potentially save someone's life by taking a 4-hour class. It could be, your child is choking and you don't know what to do. Instead of waiting for 911 to get there, you can try to rectify the situation before we get there.
Now, I know, I'm sure it's here too, they have what they call 911 dispatchers that, I guess they're called emergency medical dispatchers or something. If I call in, they teach me right on the phone how to do CPR. So.
Yep, they can. They will walk you through everything that, they'll have you calm down, walk you through to give you the best, whoever it is, the best chance of survival. But just knowing how to do CPR is critical. It's completely, it literally is between life and death.
So time is important.
Absolutely.
I know the city, if they put out any kind of ALS call in the city of Laurel when they dispatch it, that the police department's notified, and all their officers now, at least most of them, have AEDs in their car, external defibrillators. Matter of fact, they say quite a few people by having those in the car.
Yep. There's on my call.
Really?
Yep. he ended up hooking up to the AED and saved the guy's life.
Well, there you go. The equipment that we have, the people that are trained, it does work. And sometimes people worry about if I take CPR today, and 5 years down the road I might forget it, but you'd be surprised how quickly that'll come back to you to do the right thing. Dan, I know you talked about earlier, you wanted to talk a little bit about dryer fires. Why is it important to worry about that?
Kat, within the last couple of months, we've experienced a couple dryer fires here in Laurel. And something that it causes dryer fires. It's just a collection of lint inside the line. As you know, dryers, they help to dry clothing at a high temperature. And you need to continuously clean out the lint trap that you have inside the dryer. And every couple of years, you should go through and sweep out and vacuum the dryer line itself, where the dryer exhausts to the outside of the building. Another thing is people need to be cautious about reading the tags of the materials before you put them into the dryer. So if the tag says that to dry on low heat, then dry it at low heat. Don't put it on high heat for the safety of the merchandise, of the material, and also for the safety of your home. So dryer fires they're serious events when they occur. Never leave your dryer running when you're not at home. And always ensure that you follow the directions of the clothing and that you keep your lint trap clean after each load, and that occasionally you clean out your dryer line.
And most of them some people have those white plastic tubing. It's better to get rid of that because the way the temperature changes around here, the plastic will hold moisture in there, and the lint will get hung up in there, and that's, a lot of times that's what falls apart as well. So make sure you replace it. And if you're not sure last time you cleaned it, you guys ought to look at where it comes out to the outside, where you'll notice the lint that's all trapped in the little flappers that come up and down. They don't close all the way or things of that nature. And the other thing, you want to keep those things functional too. Because now you have birds flying in there and stuff. I'm not making it in the house that way. So, well, I want to thank you two for showing up here today. It's been interesting to talk to both of you. And if there's anything that you'd like to see us talk about on the show, don't hesitate to give us a call at www.laurelvsd.org, and we'll be glad to talk about anything you want to discuss. Dan, you got anything else?
Good, Kat. Thanks so much. Thanks again for your support from the community. I would really appreciate it, because without you and your support, it would be very hard for us to get our missions accomplished up here. So thank you.
And just a little public safety announcement. I was traveling down Main Street the other day, and I heard a thump, and I looked around, and somebody had struck an animal. They struck a cat, and the cat was jumping up and down the road, and very disappointed that the person that hit the cat didn't stop to check on it. I went around the box to come back, the cat was deceased, but the problem is that a lot of these people have pets, and that's all they got, So at least stop, to make sure that if you can help it, then do that. If there's nothing you do, the city does have an animal control warden that they can come and take care of that. Well, at least do the common courtesy to look and see if there's a tag on the animal, or if it has a chip or something that we can let the people know. But like I said, some of the places around here where the cat got struck was where our older folks' home is, and sometimes that's all they got. And, I hate to see that happen. Just at least a decent courtesy to stop and see if you can render any aid to the animal. So, again, I'd like to thank the man on the camera. He does a lot for us, Paul Kirkpatrick. You never get a chance to see him because he's always behind the camera. But, Paul, we do thank you for all your time and effort. And then we'll see you next month on the Laurel Firewatch.